Today, we're talking about the 5 things that I learned operating an LS backhoe for the first time. Let's go. One of the first things I learned is that it's a powerful machine and it needs to be respected. I had never used a backhoe before and I had very little experience with a tractor. And I was shocked at how much power each one of those controls had. It came clear as day as soon as I put those stabilizers down that I was handling a very powerful machine, and it requires a certain level of finesse. The backhoe bucket is a lot like a claw on your hand, but you don't just ram your hand into things and pick things up. There's a certain amount of finesse that you need to have, and that involves knowing exactly how to use the control to get the appropriate amount of dig and then curl and then lift. And that took a little while to learn how to use. It also took a little bit of practice to learn how to control that curl and the digging function, because the backhoe is actually powerful enough that it can actually pull the whole tractor. I was watching those stabilizers and they were just being dragged through the mud, and that is placing way too much pressure on the pins of the backhoe and places that piece of equipment at risk of damage. So if you feel the tractor being moved, you need to kind of back off and dig in smaller bites to make it manageable. The second thing I learned is to make sure that you have lots of clearance on both the left and the right side of the machine. The first project that I wanted to do with it was just a small project, and really it was kind of a test project to learn how to use the backhoe. One of the things I wanted to do was to dig up some material that was in the way in between where my IBC tote stand was and where my pump house was. The problem was I didn't account for how much room I would need on the left or the right. Because I didn't have the appropriate amount of space, I would use the bucket to grab some material and then I would lift it up and then try to move to the left and then try to move to the right. But I didn't actually have anywhere to be able to extend the boom and then drop that material. So one of the things I learned is that you need to kind of pre-plan where you're going to put the material that you're excavating, because this backhoe is on the back of a tractor and you don't have the ability to move back and forth or reposition yourself like you would if you were using a mini excavator. You're kind of positioned there in space. So definitely look to the left, look to the right, and pick the right spot. The third thing I learned is that the stabilizers are absolutely necessary. The backhoe that I have is the LB3002 backhoe for the MT242 LS tractor. And that's a 4-point backhoe. So that means that it has 4 separate points where it actually connects to the tractor. And it has a separate mounting bracket. It doesn't hook up to the 3-point system at all. So it's mounted to the tractor frame. But this backhoe is powerful enough. If you don't use those stabilizers, you can feel that movement from left to right, and you can feel how unstable you are. And trust me, if you sit in that seat and even just extend that boom outward, you're going to notice right away that you don't feel stable, and you're going to check and realize you forgot to put down the stabilizers. So that is definitely something I learned. Put those puppies down to increase the stability. The fourth thing I learned is that small movements go a long way. Just slightly rotating that bucket greatly increases the angle at which you're going to dig. So there is not a need to curl the bucket upward and then extend the arm to dig downwards. In fact, that puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on those pins and could damage the machine. I started doing this at first. I noticed right away it did not feel right, and I cut it out pretty quick. And the fifth thing I learned is that the controls feel weird for quite a while. Until you kind of get used to it, you forget, okay, which lever does the boom extension, which one turns it, and it just takes a little while to adapt to it. It wasn't necessarily intuitive, at least for me. And I ran into a little bit of trouble with this when I disconnected the backhoe from the machine. Before I actually disconnected the hydraulic portion of it, I went ahead and jostled around those levers to reduce the hydraulic pressure so I wouldn't have issues hooking up next time. Well, that caused the bucket to move and caused the boom to move, and it moved a little bit too much, and then the whole machine kind of it spread out on my garage floor, and then I had to hook it back up to the tractor hydraulics and then use those stabilizer legs to kind of pick it back up again. And honestly, I'm really lucky that I didn't get hurt and that there was no property damage and that the equipment wasn't hurt. And the whole reason that the backhoe kind of tipped backwards after it was taken off the machine is because I wasn't familiar enough with the controls yet. I had just used it that one time for a couple hours, and then I had to put the 3-point on to go ahead and do some tilling. And because those controls weren't intuitive, I just pushed the wrong lever, the wrong direction, and disaster almost occurred. So definitely take some time to familiarize yourself with the equipment and don't rush through it. And honestly, I don't think there's too much of a need to relieve the hydraulic pressure from the backhoe before you hook it, when you disconnect it, because if there's a little bit too much pressure in those Pioneer connections, you can go ahead and just manually relieve that pressure. And that way, once you get that backhoe stable and when it's detached from the tractor, you don't have to worry about it shifting or adjusting its position by trying to relieve that hydraulic pressure. And one more bonus thing I learned, I was really worried about my ability to hook that backhoe back up to the machine after I had taken it off. In fact, I was so nervous about it that I really didn't want to take the backhoe off the machine at all, but I have other 3-point implements that I need to use, so I had no choice. Putting the backhoe back on the machine, at least for the LS MT242H, is a breeze. I was able to get it to go perfectly the first time. It slid right into the brackets. I just backed it up nice and slow and it lined up perfectly. So if you're worried about that and you're a first time backhoe owner, I'll set your mind at ease. It wasn't that difficult. And in fact, I'm going to post a video up right here in case you guys are wondering how to get this puppy hooked back up to your tractor.